Temi couldn't take her eyes off the photograph. The baby was tiny, wrapped in a white blanket, sleeping peacefully. There was nothing unusual about the child. Nothing that explained why the photograph had been hidden for 24 years. But the woman standing beside the baby was unmistakable. Temi's grandmother, Temi Daniels, young, serious, and holding the baby as though she had been protecting it. Temi looked at the date again. October 17, 2002. The same night Kang Ji-hoon's mother disappeared. The same night Samuel Daniels was supposedly killed. The same night Temi's grandmother vanished from the Kang family's story. "What is this?" Temi whispered. Ji-hoon didn't answer. He couldn't. His eyes remained fixed on the photograph. The priest stood silently across from them. Finally, Temi looked at him. "Who is this child?" The priest's expression was solemn. "I don't know. You took this photograph." "No." "Then who did?" "Your grandmother." Temi's heart sank. "My grandmother? She gave it to me 24 years ago." "Why?" The priest shook his head. "She told me never to show it to anyone unless you came looking for the truth." Temi's fingers tightened around the photograph. "She knew I would come? She believed you would." Ji-hoon looked at the priest. "Did my mother bring the child here?" "No." "Then who did?" The priest hesitated. "Your mother came alone." "When?" "The evening before she disappeared." Ji-hoon frowned. "What did she say?" The priest looked toward the altar. "She was afraid." "Of my father?" "Yes." "Did she mention Samuel?" "Yes." Ji-hoon's expression tightened. "What did she say about him?" "That he was the father of her child." Temi's breath caught. She looked at Ji-hoon. He looked back. Neither spoke. Then the priest said quietly, "But Samuel was not the only person involved." The priest led them into a small archive room. Dust covered the shelves. Old boxes were stacked against the wall. He opened one. Inside were several documents. "There was a hospital nearby," he explained. "Your grandmother used to visit it." Temi looked at the papers. One was a hospital admission record. The patient's name had been blacked out, but the date was visible. October 17, 2002. "Someone gave birth that night," Temi whispered. The priest nodded. "A woman." "Who?" "We never knew." Ji-hoon stepped closer. "Was it my mother?" "No." Temi's eyes widened. "Then who?" The priest looked at her. "Your grandmother." Temi stopped breathing. "What?" "She was admitted to the hospital that night." "No." "Yes." "But my grandmother never had another child." The priest's expression changed. "That is what everyone believed." Temi stared at the document. Her mind was racing. If her grandmother had given birth on October 17, 2002, then who was the baby? And why had she never known? She looked at Ji-hoon. He looked equally stunned. "Could the baby be mine?" Temi whispered. The priest shook his head. "No." "Then whose?" He didn't answer. Instead, he handed her another document. A birth certificate. The mother's name was partially obscured. The father's name was blank. But the child's name was visible. Temi read it. Daniel Kang. She stared. "Daniel." Ji-hoon's face changed. "That name." "What?" "My mother once told me she had a brother." Temi's eyes widened. "A brother?" "She said he died." "When?" "Before I was born." Temi looked at the certificate again. Daniel Kang. Born October 17, 2002. Ji-hoon was born earlier that year. So this couldn't be his brother unless... Temi slowly looked at the priest. "Was Daniel Kang really born that night?" "Yes." "Is he dead?" The priest remained silent. Temi's heart began pounding. "Father." The priest looked at her. "No." She whispered. "He's alive." The priest nodded. They left the church in silence. Outside, Seoul was bright and busy. Cars moved through the streets. People laughed. Couples walked hand in hand. Nobody around them knew that two people had just discovered a secret that had survived 24 years. Temi climbed into Ji-hoon's car. He didn't start the engine. He simply sat there. His hands rested on the steering wheel. "Daniel." he whispered. Temi looked at him. You think he's your brother? I don't know. But your mother said she had a brother. She said he died. Maybe she was told that. Ji-hoon looked at her. By my father. The words hung between them. Temi nodded slowly. If your father wanted Daniel hidden, there must have been a reason. Ji-hoon finally started the engine. We need to find him. Their first lead came from the hospital. The records showed that the baby had been transferred shortly after birth. The destination was listed as a private children's home. The home's name had changed 3 times, but the address remained. Ji-hoon drove there immediately. They found an abandoned building, broken windows, overgrown grass, an old sign hanging from the wall. Temi walked inside. Dust covered the floor. She found a pile of files in a corner. Most were destroyed. Then she saw one word. Kang. She pulled the file out. Inside was a photograph. A young boy, perhaps 4 years old. Temi stared. He had Ji-hoon's eyes. She looked at Ji-hoon. He took the photograph. His hands began shaking. This is him. You're sure? My mother had this exact photograph. When I was 6. He turned it over. There was a handwritten message. Daniel transferred to Canada. Temi's heart sank. Canada? Ji-hoon nodded. Someone wanted him far away. Why? He looked at her. I think we're about to find out. They returned to Ji-hoon's penthouse. He immediately began searching old family records. Temi sat beside him. For hours they found nothing. Then Ji-hoon opened a hidden file from his father's private archive. Inside was a passport. Daniel Kang. The photograph matched the boy. Temi leaned closer. He was alive. Yes. Your father knew. Yes. Then why did he tell everyone he died? Ji-hoon's expression hardened. He turned another page. There was a medical report. Temi read it. Her stomach dropped. Daniel had a rare genetic condition. He needed treatment. The Kang family had covered the medical costs. But there was something else. A note from a doctor. The child's bloodline is medically significant. Temi frowned. What does that mean? Ji-hoon stared at the document. I don't know. Then he found another page. A genetic report. His eyes moved across it. He froze. What? He didn't answer. Ji-hoon. He slowly looked at Temi. This is why my father hid him. Why? Ji-hoon's voice was barely audible. Because Daniel isn't my brother. Temi stared. What? He's my mother's son. That means he has Samuel's blood. Temi's heart stopped. Your grandfather. Ji-hoon nodded. He was Samuel's biological child. Temi looked at the report. Then everything clicked. The baby in the photograph. Her grandmother. Samuel. Myun. The secret child. But one question remained. Why would your father care? Ji-hoon looked at her. Because Daniel was the legal heir. Temi's eyes widened. Not you. No. If Samuel was his biological father, then Daniel had a claim to everything my father had taken. Temi slowly understood. Kang Ji-hoon hadn't simply been protecting a secret. He had been protecting an empire. That evening, Ji-hoon's father called again. This time, Ji-hoon answered. What do you want? His father's voice was calm. You found Daniel. Ji-hoon's blood ran cold. How do you know? You are my son. You mean nothing to me. A pause. You sound like your mother. Where is Daniel? Silence. Then, safe. Where? You don't need to know. I'll find him. No. Ji-hoon's voice hardened. I'm coming for him. His father laughed. You still think this is about justice. What is it about? Blood. Ji-hoon looked at Temi. His father continued. Your mother loved Samuel. Yes. She betrayed me. No. She gave birth to another man's child. He was your brother. He was a threat. Ji-hoon's jaw tightened. He was a child. He was an heir. He was innocent. So were you. The words stopped him. His father continued. That is why I raised you. You raised me because you needed a puppet. No. His father's voice became softer. I raised you because I loved you. Ji-hoon closed his eyes. For a moment, the anger disappeared. Then his father said something that brought it back. Ask Temi what her grandmother did after Daniel was born. Temi's head lifted. What? The call ended. Ji-hoon slowly lowered the phone. What did he mean? Temi shook her head. I don't know. But deep inside something had changed. For the first time, she wondered whether her grandmother had told her only half the truth. That night, Temi opened the old wooden box again. She removed the ring. She studied it carefully. Then she remembered something. Her grandmother had said, there are things I should have told you. Not there was one thing. Things. Plural. Temi turned the ring over. The dark stone caught the light. She pressed it. Nothing. She pressed again. Click. The tiny compartment opened. But this time something else was visible. A second piece of paper. She pulled it out. Her hands shook. It was a short note. If you find Daniel, do not trust him. Temi froze. Below that, he was never told the truth about who he was. And underneath, he believes you are his sister. Temi's heart stopped. She read the words again. He believes you are his sister. She looked toward Ji-hoon. He was asleep on the sofa. Temi quietly walked to the window. Her mind raced. If Daniel was Samuel's son, then Daniel was connected to Temi. But how? The answer came slowly. Samuel had fathered Daniel with Myeon. Then later, he married Temi's grandmother. That would make Daniel Temi's half-brother. Her heart began pounding. But the final line of the note frightened her even more. And he has been searching for you. Temi dropped the paper. A knock sounded at the penthouse door. She froze. Another knock. Ji-hoon woke. Temi? She turned toward him. Someone is at the door. He stood immediately. His expression changed. He moved toward the security monitor. A man stood outside. Korean. Tall. Late 20s. He was wearing a dark coat. Ji-hoon stared at the screen. His face went pale. Temi stepped closer. Who is that? Ji-hoon whispered. Daniel. Temi's heart stopped. The man outside lifted his head, as if he could see them through the camera. Then he smiled. Not warmly, not nervously, almost knowingly. The doorbell rang again. Ji-hoon stepped in front of Temi. Stay behind me. The door opened. The man walked inside. He looked at Ji-hoon first, then at Temi. His eyes stopped on the ring around her neck. His expression changed. You have it. Temi's voice trembled. Who are you? He smiled. My name is Daniel Kang. He looked directly at her. And I've been looking for my sister for 24 years. Temi's breath caught. Ji-hoon stepped forward. You're not taking her anywhere. Daniel laughed. I didn't come for her. He reached into his coat. Ji-hoon's security team immediately moved toward him. Daniel pulled out a photograph. He handed it to Temi. She looked down. It was a photograph of her grandmother. But she wasn't alone. Beside her stood a baby. And beside the baby was Daniel, a little boy, older than the baby, holding its hand. Temi stared. What is this? Daniel's smile disappeared. Your grandmother wasn't protecting one child that night. He looked at Ji-hoon. She was protecting two. Ji-hoon's eyes widened. Two. Daniel nodded. Me. He pointed at the photograph. And another child. Temi's heart began pounding. Who? Daniel looked directly into her eyes. The child your grandmother took with her when she disappeared. Silence. Temi couldn't breathe. Who was the other child? Daniel answered with 4 words. Your mother, Temi. Temi stared at him. My mother. Daniel nodded. She wasn't dead. The room went silent. She disappeared too. Temi's knees almost gave way. Her mother, the woman she had grown up believing had died. The woman whose death had shaped her entire childhood. Alive? Daniel looked at the ring. Your grandmother spent her entire life protecting your mother. Temi's eyes filled with tears. Where is she? Daniel looked at Ji-hoon, then back at Temi. She was in Korea. Temi's breath stopped. Where? Daniel's expression became serious. Until 3 weeks ago. Why 3 weeks ago? Because someone found her. Who? Daniel looked toward the door. Your grandfather. Temi shook her head. My grandfather is dead. Daniel's face changed. No. He stepped closer. Your grandfather is alive. Temi couldn't speak. Then Daniel whispered. And he's the reason your mother disappeared. The room fell silent. 24 years of secrets had just cracked open. And Temi suddenly realized that the ring had never been leading her toward a dead past. It had been leading her toward a living person. Her mother. And somewhere in Korea, the woman Temi had mourned her entire life might still be alive. If you were Temi, would you believe Daniel or would you demand proof before trusting him? Tell us in the comments. And if this story has you hooked, like this video and subscribe to the AfroK Tales. Temi stared at the message. Come alone if you want to see her again. Her fingers trembled around the phone. Beside her, Ji-hoon was already shaking his head. No. Temi looked at him. My grandmother is alive. I know. They have her. I know. Then I have to go. Ji-hoon stepped closer. And walk into a trap? She could die. So could you. Temi's eyes filled with tears. I can't just sit here. You're not sitting here. He took the phone from her hand. We're going. She immediately shook her head. It says alone. I don't care what it says. If you come, they might hurt her. If I don't come, they might hurt you. He looked directly into her eyes. I've spent my entire life obeying my father's rules. His voice became quieter. I'm not doing it anymore. Temi stared at him. You're willing to risk everything? For you. He nodded. Yes. She swallowed. Why? He took her hand. Because somewhere between Seoul and Busan, I stopped thinking of you as part of this mystery. He gently squeezed her fingers. You became the person I want beside me when the mystery is over. Temi's eyes filled with tears. What if there is no happy ending? Then we'll make one. The location led them to an abandoned seaside warehouse. It stood at the edge of a quiet industrial district. No people, no cars, only the sound of waves crashing against the rocks. Ji-hoon's security team stayed several hundred meters away. Temi and Ji-hoon approached the warehouse together. A large metal door opened. Inside was darkness. Then a light came on. Temi stopped. At the far end of the warehouse sat an elderly woman. Her hands were tied. Her silver hair fell around her shoulders. Temi recognized her immediately. Grandma. Adizwa lifted her head. Her eyes widened. Temi? Temi rushed forward. Ji-hoon grabbed her arm. Wait. A voice came from the shadows. Always so impatient. Kang Ji-hoon stepped into the light. Temi froze. Ji-hoon's face hardened. Father. Ji-hoon smiled. You finally came. Ji-hoon stepped in front of Temi. Let her go. Ji-hoon looked at Adizwa. She's been waiting 24 years for this moment. Temi stared at him. What do you want? The ring. Temi instinctively touched the pendant around her neck. Ji-hoon laughed. Not that one. Ji-hoon's eyes narrowed. The original. Ji-hoon nodded. Exactly. Temi looked at her grandmother. Where is it? Adizwa shook her head. Don't give him anything. Ji-hoon sighed. Still stubborn. Temi stepped forward. You kept my grandmother prisoner. I kept her alive. You kidnapped her. I protected her from the people who wanted her dead. Temi stared at him. You killed my grandfather. Ji-hoon's expression changed. No. He was alive. Yes. Then why did everyone believe he was dead? Because that was the only way he could survive. Temi looked at her grandmother. Is that true? Adizwa slowly nodded. Temi's heart sank. Why didn't you tell me? Because you were safe. For 24 years? Yes. Temi's voice broke. I thought you abandoned me. Adizwa's eyes filled with tears. I never abandoned you. Temi took another step. You were my grandmother. Adizwa looked at her. No. She paused. Then whispered. I was your mother. The world seemed to stop. Temi stared at her. She had heard it before, but hearing it from the woman herself was different. You knew. Adizwa nodded. I gave birth to you. Temi's lips trembled. Then why did you let me call you Grandma? Because your mother was being hunted. By him. Adizwa looked at Daehyun. Yes. Temi turned toward him. Why? Daehyun's face remained emotionless. Because you were the only person who could expose everything. Ji-hoon stepped forward. What exactly is on the ring? Daehyun smiled. The truth. A door opened behind them. Daniel entered. Ji-hoon immediately turned. You followed us. Daniel shrugged. I wasn't going to let you two walk into a trap alone. Daehyun's expression darkened. You. Daniel stared at him. You remember me? I remember everything. Then you remember what you did. Daehyun's jaw tightened. You were a child. And you tried to erase me. You were a threat. I was your wife's son. Daehyun looked away. Daniel stepped closer. You spent 24 years telling everyone I was dead. You were supposed to be. Temi gasped. Ji-hoon looked at his father. What does that mean? Daehyun said nothing. Daniel laughed bitterly. He ordered my death. Temi stared at him. But you survived. My mother saved me. Where? Canada. Daehyun's expression remained cold. You should have stayed there. Daniel stepped closer. I came back for my mother. And now? Daniel looked at Temi. For my sister. Daehyun looked at Temi. She is not your sister. Daniel frowned. What? Daehyun's smile returned. You have all been chasing the wrong bloodline. Silence. Ji-hoon stared at him. What are you talking about? Daehyun looked at Temi. The woman you call your mother is not your biological mother. Temi's heart stopped. No. Daehyun continued. And the woman you call your grandmother is not your biological mother either. Temi looked at Adizwa. Adizwa's face was filled with pain. Then who am I? Daehyun smiled. That is what the ring reveals. Adizwa suddenly shouted. Don't listen to him. Daehyun turned toward her. You should have told her years ago. Temi looked at Adizwa. Tell me. Her grandmother closed her eyes. Temi. Tell me the truth. Adizwa began crying. The night you were born. She paused. There were two babies. Temi's breathing stopped. One was you. And the other? Adizwa looked at Daniel. Daniel. Daniel's face changed. What? Adizwa nodded. You were born on the same night. Daniel stared at her. My mother gave birth to me? Yes. Then why did you have me? Because Myun was dying. Daniel's eyes filled with tears. What happened? She begged me to save you. Adizwa continued. She knew Daehyun would kill you. Daniel looked at Daehyun. And you took me? Yes. Why? Because I couldn't let him find you. Daniel's voice broke. But I grew up believing I was abandoned. Adizwa shook her head. You were never abandoned. Daniel looked away. For a moment, even he couldn't speak. Temi walked toward her grandmother. And me? Adizwa reached for her. You were born 3 days earlier. Temi froze. What? You weren't born October 17th. Temi's eyes widened. Then what date? October 14th. Ji-hoon looked confused. Then why does the hospital record say October 17th? Adizwa looked toward Daehyun. Because your father changed the records. Ji-hoon's expression hardened. Why? Adizwa answered. To make the two children appear to be twins. Temi stared. Twins? Adizwa nodded. Daniel and Temi were never siblings by blood. Daniel stepped forward. What? Adizwa looked at him. You and Temi have different biological fathers. The room went silent. Daniel's face went pale. Then who is her father? Adizwa looked at Samuel. Everyone turned. A man stood in the doorway. Older, gray-haired, but unmistakable. Temi's heart stopped. Grandpa! Samuel Daniels looked at her. His eyes filled with tears. My little girl. Temi couldn't move. For 24 years, she had believed him dead. Now he stood before her. Alive. He walked slowly toward her. I wanted to come to you. Temi's voice trembled. Why didn't you? Because every time I tried, they found me. Who? Samuel looked at Dae-hyun. He did. Dae-hyun laughed softly. You still blame me. You tried to kill my family. I protected mine. Samuel shook his head. You destroyed everything. Temi stood between the two men, her grandfather and Ji-hoon's father, two men who had shaped her entire life without her knowing. She looked at Samuel. Am I your daughter? He nodded. Yes. Her knees weakened. Adizwa caught her. Samuel approached. I wanted to tell you. When it was safe. It was never safe. I know. Temi looked at him with tears in her eyes. You let me believe you were dead. I had no choice. You always had a choice. Samuel's face crumbled. I was afraid. Temi stared at him. For the first time, she realized the adults in her life had all made decisions based on fear. Her grandmother, her mother, her grandfather, Ji-hoon's mother, even Dae-hyun. And she was the one left carrying the consequences. She turned toward Ji-hoon. He was standing quietly. His eyes were wet. He walked to her. I know this is too much. Temi shook her head. I don't know what to believe anymore. You don't have to believe everything tonight. He took her hand. Believe what you feel. She looked at him. I feel tired. He pulled her into his arms. Then rest. She cried against his chest. And for the first time since the truth began unraveling, she allowed herself to stop being strong. But Dae-hyun wasn't finished. He walked toward a table. On it was a small wooden box. He opened it. Inside was the original wedding ring. Temi stared. That ring belonged to my grandmother? Dae-hyun nodded. Your grandmother gave it to my wife. Why? Because it contained the evidence. He lifted it. Bank accounts. Names. Documents. Photographs. Everything. Ji-hoon stepped closer. Why didn't you destroy it? Dae-hyun looked at him. Because your mother hid it before she disappeared. Where? Dae-hyun smiled. She gave it to Samuel. Samuel's face changed. Dae-hyun turned toward him. Didn't she? Samuel remained silent. Temi looked at her grandfather. Where is it? Samuel looked at her. I don't know. Dae-hyun laughed. Liar. Suddenly the warehouse lights went out. Gunshots exploded. Everyone dropped. Ji-hoon grabbed Temi. Get down. Security rushed into the warehouse. More gunshots. Glass shattered. People shouted. Temi clung to Ji-hoon. Grandma! I have her. He pulled Adizwa toward them. Daniel grabbed Samuel. They moved toward the back exit. Then a shot rang out. Adizwa screamed. Temi turned. Her grandmother had fallen. Grandma! Temi rushed toward her. Ji-hoon grabbed her. Don't! Blood was spreading across Adizwa's shoulder. Temi screamed. She's been shot. Dae-hyun disappeared into the darkness. The attackers fled. Sirens began approaching. Ji-hoon knelt beside Adizwa. Stay with us. Adizwa looked at Temi. Her breathing was shallow. Temi. Yes. She reached into her pocket. Her fingers found something. She placed it in Temi's hand. The original ring. Temi stared. Grandma. Adizwa whispered. Your mother. Where is she? Adizwa's eyes filled with tears. Seoul. Where? She tried to speak, but her eyes closed. Grandma. Temi shook her. Please. Ji-hoon pulled her back. She needs a doctor. Hours later, the hospital corridor was silent. Temi sat outside the operating room. Her hands were covered in her grandmother's blood. Ji-hoon sat beside her. Daniel stood near the window. Samuel paced back and forth. Nobody spoke. Finally, a doctor came out. Temi stood. How is she? The doctor looked at her. She lost a lot of blood. Temi's heart dropped. But she is alive. She closed her eyes. Relief flooded through her. The doctor continued. She asked for you before surgery. Temi entered the room. Adizwa was pale, weak, but awake. Temi sat beside her. I'm here. Adizwa looked at her. You found him. Grandpa. She nodded. And Daniel? Yes. Adizwa smiled weakly. Then I can finally tell you everything. Temi took her hand. What happened to my mother? Adizwa looked toward the window. She wasn't kidnapped. Temi frowned. Then where is she? Adizwa whispered. She went into hiding. Why? Because she discovered who wanted to kill you. Who? Adizwa looked at her. The person you trust most. Temi froze. What? Her grandmother's eyes filled with tears. Temi. She struggled to breathe. Your mother didn't disappear because of Dae-hyun. Temi's heart raced. Then who? Adizwa whispered one final sentence. Your mother disappeared because she was afraid of Ji-hoon's mother. Temi went completely still. Ji-hoon's mother. The woman everyone believed was innocent. The woman who had supposedly loved her grandmother. The woman who had supposedly tried to protect Daniel. Why would Temi's mother fear her? Before Temi could ask another question, the heart monitor began beeping rapidly. Doctors rushed into the room. Please step outside. Temi stood frozen. Grandma! Ji-hoon pulled her into the hallway. The doors closed. Temi stared through the glass. Her entire world had changed again. The woman she had trusted. The woman Ji-hoon had spent his entire life mourning. The woman who might have been the victim of the Kang family. Might have been hiding something far darker. And in Temi's hand was the original ring. The ring that contained the evidence. The ring everyone had been willing to kill for. She looked down at it. Then she noticed something. A tiny inscription had appeared beneath the stone. 3 words. Ask your mother. Temi's heart pounded. Her mother was somewhere in Seoul. And whatever truth she carried could destroy everything, including the love that had grown between Temi and Ji-hoon. If you were Temi, would you confront Ji-hoon's mother first? Or find your own mother and hear her side of the story? Tell us in the comments. And if you're still following this journey, like this video and subscribe to the AfroK Tales. The words on the ring wouldn't leave Temi's mind. Ask your mother. She had spent her entire life believing she knew the woman who gave birth to her. Now she wasn't even sure what parts of that life were real. Her mother was alive. Her grandfather was alive. Her grandmother was fighting for her life. Daniel had appeared from nowhere, and Ji-hoon's family was connected to all of it. Temi sat beside the hospital window until sunrise. Ji-hoon found her there. You haven't slept. Neither have you. He sat beside her. How is your grandmother? The doctors say she's stable. He nodded. Temi looked down at the ring. There's something I haven't told you. What? She showed him the inscription. Ask your mother. Ji-hoon's expression changed. My mother. Temi nodded. Your grandmother said my mother was afraid of her. He was silent. Do you believe that? I don't know. That scares me. Ji-hoon took the ring from her. My mother was complicated. How? She loved people deeply. He looked away. But she also kept secrets. Temi stared at him. Like what? I don't know. Then we need to find out. He nodded. Yes. They returned to Seoul that afternoon. Daniel stayed behind in Jeju with Samuel to protect Adizwa. Temi wanted to remain with them, but her mother was still missing, and the message on the ring had become impossible to ignore. They drove directly to the old Kang residence. The house looked different now. Temi had entered it several times before, but now she noticed everything. The portraits, the old photographs, the servants who avoided eye contact, the rooms that always seemed locked, the family history hanging on walls that had never told the whole truth. Ji-hoon opened the front door. His sister Soo-jin was waiting. She looked at Temi. You came back. Temi nodded. I need to ask you something. Soo-jin glanced at her brother. What happened? Your mother. Soo-jin's expression tightened. What about her? My mother was afraid of her. Silence. Soo-jin looked away. That isn't possible. Why? Because my mother loved your grandmother. Temi stepped closer. That's what everyone says. And my grandmother is lying in a hospital because someone shot her. Soo-jin's eyes widened. What? Someone tried to kill her. Ji-hoon stepped in. And our father knows more than he's telling us. Sujin's face hardened. Where is he? We don't know. She looked at Temi. What exactly did your grandmother say? Temi hesitated. She told me to ask my mother. Sujin's eyes changed. Your mother? Yes. She's alive. Yes. Sujin sat down. For a moment, she looked frightened. There is something you need to know. Temi sat opposite her. What? Sujin lowered her voice. My mother disappeared once before. When? 24 years ago. Temi's heart stopped. After Ji-hoon was born? Sujin nodded. She disappeared for 3 months. Where did she go? We were told she went to visit relatives. But when she returned, she wasn't the same. Ji-hoon frowned. What do you mean? Sujin looked at him. She was afraid of father. Ji-hoon's eyes widened. Mother was afraid of him? Yes. Why didn't she tell me? You were 6. And you? I was 8. Sujin looked down. I didn't understand. Temi leaned forward. What happened during those 3 months? Sujin shook her head. I don't know. Then who does? She looked toward the hallway. Mr. Han. Temi froze. He's already told us what happened. No. Sujin shook her head. Not everything. They called Mr. Han. He arrived several hours later. When he entered the room, his eyes immediately went to Temi. You found the original. Temi held up the ring. Yes. His expression changed. Then you're close. Close to what? The truth. Temi sat across from him. My grandmother said my mother feared your employer. Mr. Han looked at Ji-hoon. Your mother feared everyone. Why? Because she discovered what your father had done. What? Mr. Han sighed. Your father wasn't the person controlling the Kang family. Ji-hoon frowned. Then who was? Mr. Han looked at Temi. Your grandmother. Temi stared. What? She built the network. Ji-hoon's face hardened. My grandmother? No. Temi's grandmother. Silence. Mr. Han continued. Before she met Samuel, Adizwa worked with Korean shipping companies. Temi stared. My grandmother? She was brilliant. She never told me. She couldn't. Mr. Han looked at Ji-hoon. Your father wanted control of her business. Ji-hoon shook his head. That doesn't make sense. It does when you understand the history. Mr. Han leaned forward. Your father didn't create the empire. He looked at Temi. Your grandmother did. Temi couldn't speak. Everything she thought she knew about her grandmother was changing. Her grandmother had always been a quiet woman. She had cooked. She had prayed. She had taken care of Temi. She had never spoken about business. Never spoken about Korea. Never spoken about power. But apparently, before Temi was born, she had been one of the most powerful people connected to the Korean shipping industry. How? Temi asked. Mr. Han explained. Your grandmother met Mi-yeon when Mi-yeon was studying international trade. They became friends. Then business partners. They created a network connecting West Africa and Korea. Temi's eyes widened. That's how they met Samuel? Yes. And Dae-hyun? He wanted to take control of it. What happened? Your grandmother refused. Ji-hoon stared at him. So my father betrayed her. Yes. And my mother knew? Yes. And that's why she was afraid? Mr. Han nodded. She knew Dae-hyun had been stealing from the company. Temi frowned. What does the ring have to do with that? Everything. Mr. Han took out a notebook. Your grandmother recorded everything. Where? Inside the ring. Temi looked down. Inside. He nodded. The stone is a storage device. Ji-hoon looked surprised. How? Your grandmother's contacts developed it for her. Temi turned the ring over. Can we open it? Yes. How? Mr. Han looked at her. Your mother's fingerprint. Temi froze. My mother? Yes. Why hers? Because Adizwa trusted only her. Temi immediately pulled out her phone. Then we find her. They searched everywhere. Hospitals, hotels, old addresses, former business contacts. Nothing. Then Sujin remembered something. My mother had a friend. Who? Amara. Temi's heart stopped. My mother. Yes. They knew each other? They were close. Where did they meet? Here. Sujin pointed toward the house. In this house. Temi looked around. 24 years ago? Yes. Do you know where? Sujin shook her head. Then she paused. The greenhouse. The greenhouse had been locked for decades. Ji-hoon broke the lock. Inside, everything was covered in dust. Plants had grown wild. Temi walked through slowly. Then she noticed a small wooden bench. Underneath it was a metal box. She opened it. Inside was a photograph. Her mother, Ji-hoon's mother, her grandmother. All three women were standing together. And they were smiling. Temi stared. They were friends. Yes, Sujin whispered. Then Temi noticed something in the background. A child. A little boy, Ji-hoon. And beside him, another little girl. Temi stared. Who is that? Sujin looked at the photograph. Her face went pale. I don't know. You've never seen her? Sujin shook her head. No. Temi turned the photograph over. There was a handwritten message. The children must never meet. Ji-hoon read it. Why? No one answered. Then Temi noticed another photograph underneath. This one showed the same little girl. Older, maybe 4 years old. And standing beside her was Temi's mother. Temi's breath caught. My mother knew her. Sujin whispered. Who is she? Temi turned the photograph over. There was a name. Mina. Suddenly, the greenhouse lights went out. Everyone froze. Ji-hoon immediately reached for Temi. Stay behind me. A noise came from outside. Footsteps. Then the glass shattered. A man rushed through. Ji-hoon tackled him. Another attacker entered. Sujin screamed. Temi grabbed the photograph and ran. She heard Ji-hoon shouting. Temi, go! She ran through the back door. Her heart pounded. She didn't know where she was going. She only knew she had to protect the photograph. She reached the garden. Someone grabbed her arm. She screamed. Then Daniel appeared. He struck the man down. Run! Temi stared at him. What are you doing here? Saving you. He grabbed her hand. Where is Ji-hoon? Inside. Daniel ran back. Minutes later, Ji-hoon emerged. His shirt was torn. There was blood on his lip. Temi rushed to him. Are you okay? Yes. She touched his face. You're bleeding. I'm fine. He looked at Daniel. Thank you. Daniel nodded. Then Temi showed them the photograph. Mina. Daniel stared. What? She was connected to our mothers. Ji-hoon took the photograph. His expression changed. I know her. Temi froze. You do. I've seen her. Where? He looked at Daniel. At my father's office. They returned to the penthouse. Ji-hoon opened an encrypted database. He searched the name. Nothing. Then he searched the photograph. A match appeared. Temi leaned closer. The file was classified. Subject: Mina Park. Status: protected. Location: Seoul. Relationship: Kang family. Temi's heart raced. She's alive. Ji-hoon nodded. Apparently. Why is she protected? Daniel pointed at the screen. Look. A second line appeared. Biological connection. Temi Daniels. Temi stopped breathing. What? Ji-hoon stared. No. The database loaded another file. Mina Park, biological mother. Amara Daniels. Temi's eyes widened. Her mother had another child. A daughter. Mina. Temi's sister. The mystery suddenly made sense. The child everyone had been hiding. The child her grandmother had protected. The child her mother had disappeared for. Mina. And beneath her name was one final note. Do not allow Temi Daniels to find her. Temi stepped backward. Why? No one answered. Then Ji-hoon's phone rang. Unknown number. He answered. A woman's voice spoke. Ji-hoon. He froze. Who is this? I know where your mother is. His eyes widened. Where? Come alone. Who are you? The woman paused, then said, "My name is Mina." The call ended. Temi stared at him. What did she say? Ji-hoon looked at her. "She knows where your mother is." Temi's heart pounded. "Who is she?" He swallowed. "Mina." Temi's eyes filled with tears. "My sister." That night, Temi couldn't sleep. She sat beside the window. Ji-hoon joined her. "You're thinking about Mina?" "Yes." "And your mother?" "Yes." "And your grandmother?" "Yes." He smiled faintly. "That's a lot." She looked at him. "I spent my whole life thinking I was alone." "You're not." "I have a sister." "Yes." "A mother." "Yes." "A grandfather." "Yes." She smiled sadly. "And somehow, I also have a Korean boyfriend." Ji-hoon raised an eyebrow. "Boyfriend? Unless you object." "I don't." "Good." He took her hand. "Because I was hoping for something more." She looked at him. "More?" He nodded. "Much more." Before she could answer, his phone rang. He checked the screen. A message. One photograph. Temi's mother, standing beside Mina, and beneath it, "If you want your mother alive, Temi must marry Ji-hoon." Temi stared at the message. Her blood ran cold. This wasn't about the past anymore. Someone was using their love as a weapon. And whoever was behind it knew exactly how much Temi cared about Ji-hoon. If someone forced you to marry the person you loved to save your mother's life, would you do it? Tell me in the comments. And if you're enjoying Temi and Ji-hoon's story, like this video, subscribe to the AfroK Tales, and turn on notifications. Temi read the message again. "If you want your mother alive, Temi must marry Ji-hoon." She looked at Ji-hoon. He was staring at the photograph on his phone. Temi's mother, standing beside a young woman. Mina, her sister. The words beneath the photograph were still there. "You have 48 hours. Temi's heart raced. "Who sent it?" "I don't know." "You have to know." "I don't." "Then find out." Ji-hoon looked at her. "You don't have to do this." Temi stared at him. "My mother is alive." "I know." "She could be killed." "I know." "Then what am I supposed to do?" He stepped closer. "You're supposed to stay alive." She shook her head. "I can't lose another person." "You won't." "How can you promise that?" "Because I'll find her." "And if you don't?" Ji-hoon didn't answer. Temi looked away. Then she whispered, "Maybe I should marry you." His eyes widened. "No." "Why?" "Because you shouldn't marry me because someone threatened you." "What if I want to?" He stared at her. "You don't. You don't know what I want. I know you're scared." "Yes." "I know you're desperate." "Yes." "And I know you're trying to save your mother." Temi's voice became quiet. "And what if I also love you?" Ji-hoon went completely still. The room seemed to disappear around them. "You?" Temi looked at him. "I love you." He didn't speak. She swallowed. "I didn't plan it." "I know." "I didn't expect it." "I know. But I do." Ji-hoon stepped toward her. "Say it again." Temi smiled through tears. "I love you." He pulled her into his arms. For a moment the threat disappeared. The past disappeared. There was only the two of them. But when they separated, Ji-hoon whispered, "I will never let anyone use our love against you." Temi looked at him. "Then let's take their choice away." "What do you mean?" "Let's get married." He stared. "Temi." "Not because they ordered it." She took his hand. "Because we choose it." The next morning, the announcement spread through Seoul. Kang Ji-hoon to marry Nigerian woman Temi Daniels. The news appeared everywhere. Business websites, entertainment channels, social media, photographs of Ji-hoon and Temi leaving the airport, photographs of them holding hands, photographs of them together in Seoul. People immediately began speculating. Who was she? Why was a Nigerian woman marrying the heir of the Kang family? Was it business? Was it love? Was it an arranged marriage? The questions multiplied. Temi didn't care. She had one goal: find her mother. But there was something she didn't know. The announcement was exactly what their enemy wanted. Because the moment the marriage became public, everyone watching the Kang family moved. At the hospital, Adizwa opened her eyes. Samuel was sitting beside her. She looked around. Temi? She left. Where? Seoul. Adizwa's eyes filled with fear. No. Samuel leaned closer. What? She must not marry him. Samuel froze. Why? Because they want her to. Samuel stared. Who? Adizwa whispered. The person behind all of this. Who? She closed her eyes. I don't know. Samuel's face tightened. You know. Adizwa shook her head. I know the name. Then tell me. She opened her eyes. It's someone Ji-hoon trusts. In Seoul, Temi was trying on wedding dresses. She stood before a mirror. The dress was elegant. Simple. White. Ji-hoon stood several feet away. He stared at her. You look beautiful. Temi smiled. You're supposed to say that. I mean it. She turned. Are you nervous? Yes. Why? Because I'm about to marry the most stubborn woman I've ever met. She laughed. And you're still marrying me? Unfortunately. She walked toward him. Unfortunately? He smiled. Very unfortunately. She hit his shoulder. He caught her hand. Their laughter faded. He looked into her eyes. Temi. Yes. If you change your mind. I won't. You don't know what I'm going to say. I know. He squeezed her hand. I want you to know something. What? Even if tomorrow everything falls apart. He touched her cheek. I'll still choose you. Temi's eyes filled with tears. Don't make me cry in a wedding shop. He smiled. Then stop looking at me like that. That evening, Temi received another message. This time there was no photograph. Only an address. She showed Ji-hoon. It's an old hotel. I know it. You do. My father owned it. Temi looked at him. Why would they send us there? Because someone wants us to find something. They went. Inside the abandoned hotel, the lights flickered. The building had been closed for years. Temi walked beside Ji-hoon. Their footsteps echoed through the hallway. They reached room 317. The door was unlocked. Inside was a table. On the table sat a single envelope. Temi opened it. Inside was a letter. The handwriting was familiar. Her mother's. Temi, if you are reading this, then you have discovered Mina. Temi's hands shook. She continued, I wanted to tell you everything myself. But there are some truths that are too dangerous to speak aloud. Mina is your sister. She was born after you. Temi's eyes filled with tears. But she was not raised by me. Temi stopped. Ji-hoon read over her shoulder. Your grandmother took Mina because she believed someone would kill her. That person was not Dae-hyun. Temi's heart began racing. The next line made her freeze. It was someone inside the Daniels family. She looked at Ji-hoon. My family? He nodded slowly. Temi continued. Your father, Samuel, made a decision 24 years ago. He chose to protect Mina by giving her to someone he trusted. That person betrayed him. The letter ended with one sentence. The person you are looking for has been beside you all along. Temi dropped the letter. Ji-hoon stared at her. Who? She shook her head. I don't know. Then they heard footsteps. Someone was coming down the hallway. Ji-hoon pulled Temi behind him. The footsteps stopped outside the door. The handle turned. A woman walked inside. Temi stared. She knew her. Soo-jin. Ji-hoon's sister. Temi's heart stopped. Soo-jin. Soo-jin closed the door. Her face was filled with tears. I'm sorry. Ji-hoon stepped forward. What did you do? Soo-jin shook her head. I didn't know what they were planning. Who? She looked at Temi. Your grandfather. Temi froze. My grandfather? He lied to you. Ji-hoon stared at his sister. Explain. Soo-jin took a deep breath. Samuel isn't the innocent man you think he is. Temi's heart tightened. What did he do? He didn't simply disappear. What then? He made a deal. With whom? Soo-jin looked toward the door. With my father. Temi felt sick. What kind of deal? He gave Dae-hyun control of the Kang Empire. Why? In exchange for one thing. What? Soo-jin's voice broke. Your life. Temi froze. Ji-hoon stepped forward. No. Soo-jin nodded. Samuel agreed to disappear if Dae-hyun promised never to harm Temi. Temi shook her head. Then why did everyone keep hiding me? Because the agreement didn't last. What happened? Dae-hyun broke it. Ji-hoon looked furious. And Samuel? He tried to fight back. Then why is he alive? Soo-jin looked at Temi. Because he has been working against Dae-hyun from the shadows. Temi's mind raced. My grandfather knew where my mother was? Yes. Then why didn't he tell me? Because your mother begged him not to. Temi stared. Why? Because she believed the person watching her was closer than anyone realized. Ji-hoon frowned. Who? Soo-jin looked at him. You. Ji-hoon's face went pale. What? Soo-jin shook her head. Not you personally. She looked at Temi. Someone in your security team. Temi's heart dropped. Our security? Yes. Who? Soo-jin reached into her bag. She pulled out a photograph. A man standing behind Temi. At the airport. At the hotel. At the hospital. At the wedding shop. Temi stared. He's been with us the entire time. Ji-hoon's face hardened. I know him. Who is he? Mr. Park. Soo-jin nodded. He works for your father. Everything suddenly made sense. The attacks. The messages. The photograph of Temi's mother. The location of the warehouse. The information they had somehow received. Someone had been watching them. Someone had been reporting their movements. Someone close enough to know everything. Temi's phone rang. The screen showed an unknown number. She answered. A man's voice said, Very good. Temi froze. Who are you? You're beginning to understand. Where is my mother? You'll see her soon. Where? After the wedding. Temi's heart pounded. What do you want? I want what your grandmother stole. The ring. No. Then what? Silence. Then, your blood. The call ended. Temi looked at Ji-hoon. What does that mean? He didn't answer. Suddenly, Soo-jin collapsed. Temi rushed toward her. What's wrong? Soo-jin was struggling to breathe. Ji-hoon caught her. A tiny needle was visible in her neck. Poison. Temi screamed. Call an ambulance. Ji-hoon grabbed his phone. Soo-jin looked at Temi. Don't. Her eyes fluttered. Don't marry him. Who? Soo-jin whispered. Ji-hoon. Then she collapsed. The hospital became chaos. Doctors rushed Soo-jin into emergency treatment. Temi sat beside Ji-hoon. Neither spoke. Finally, he said, She was trying to warn you. I know. But she told you not to marry me. Temi looked at him. Do you believe her? No. Then why are you worried? Because I don't know what my father is planning. Temi took his hand. Neither do I. He looked at her. But we know one thing. What? We're being watched. Temi nodded. And someone wants this wedding to happen. Ji-hoon looked toward the hospital corridor. Then we won't give them what they want. Temi frowned. What are you saying? We postpone the wedding. No. Temi. If the wedding is what keeps my mother alive. We don't know that. We have 48 hours. Exactly. She looked at him. We have to find her before then. He nodded. Then let's find her. They returned to the penthouse. Mr. Park was waiting. He looked completely normal. Mr. Kang. Ji-hoon stared at him. You're done. Mr. Park frowned. Sir. You work for my father. I don't know what you mean. Ji-hoon stepped closer. Then why were you at every location? Mr. Park's expression changed. He reached for something beneath his jacket. Ji-hoon moved first. He knocked the weapon from his hand. The security team surrounded him. Temi stared. Who sent you? Mr. Park remained silent. Ji-hoon grabbed his collar. Where is Temi's mother? Nothing. Answer me. Mr. Park smiled. You're already too late. Temi's heart dropped. What does that mean? Mr. Park looked directly at her. The wedding isn't for your mother. Temi froze. Then what is it for? He laughed. It's for you. Before anyone could stop him, Mr. Park swallowed something. He collapsed. Ji-hoon immediately called for medical assistance. Temi stood frozen. The wedding, the ring, the threats, her mother, everything had been designed around one thing. Her. But why? At midnight, Temi opened the original ring again. This time, she found a tiny compartment hidden beneath the stone. Inside was a microchip. Ji-hoon connected it to a computer. A video appeared. Her grandmother was sitting in front of the camera, young, healthy, and speaking directly to Temi. My darling girl. Temi covered her mouth. Her grandmother continued. If you are watching this, then they have finally found you. Temi's eyes filled with tears. I am sorry. Adizwa looked down. I could not tell you who you really were. Ji-hoon watched silently. Adizwa continued. You were born with a rare blood type. Temi frowned. Your blood can be used to save someone very important. The video paused, then continued. That is why they want you. Temi stared. Not for the empire. Not for the money. For your blood. She looked at Ji-hoon. Her grandmother continued. Your mother has the same condition. But Mina does not. Your mother is sick. And your blood is the only compatible match. Temi's heart stopped. My mother. The video continued. They are keeping her alive because they need you. Temi began crying. Then her grandmother said something that changed everything. And the person behind it all is not Kang Ji-hoon. The screen went black. Temi stared. Ji-hoon whispered. Who is it? The computer suddenly displayed one final photograph. A woman. Older. Elegant. Korean. Temi had never seen her before. But Ji-hoon had. His face went completely pale. No. Temi looked at him. Who is she? He couldn't speak. Ji-hoon. He finally whispered. My mother. Temi froze. The woman everyone believed had been a victim, had been watching them from the beginning. And beneath the photograph appeared one final sentence. She has been waiting for Temi to come back to Korea. If you think Ji-hoon's mother is really the person behind everything, tell us in the comments. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the AfroK Tales. Temi stared at the photograph. She couldn't breathe. The woman on the screen was Ji-hoon's mother, the same woman who had once smiled beside Temi's mother. The same woman her grandmother had described as a friend. The same woman who had supposedly disappeared from the story 24 years ago. And now she was apparently the person behind everything. Temi slowly turned toward Ji-hoon. Is this really your mother? He nodded. His eyes never left the screen. Yes. You recognize her? I would recognize her anywhere. Temi looked at the photograph again. She has been behind all of this? I don't know. But your grandmother said my mother was afraid of her. Yes. And your sister warned me not to marry you. Yes. And now we find out your mother has been watching me. Ji-hoon clenched his jaw. I'm going to find her. Temi stood. No. He looked at her. I have to. You're not going alone. I didn't say I was. She stepped closer. We go together. He stared at her. Temi. She took his hand. I've spent my whole life running from secrets other people created. Her voice trembled. I'm done running. Ji-hoon squeezed her hand. Then we face her together. The address hidden inside the video led them to an old mansion overlooking the Han River. It wasn't part of the Kang family's public property records. That alone made Ji-hoon suspicious. They arrived shortly after midnight. The gates opened before they reached them. Temi looked at Ji-hoon. You think she knows we're here? Yes. Then why let us in? I don't know. They entered. The mansion was silent. No guards. No servants. No cameras that they could see. Ji-hoon opened the front door. Mother. Nothing. Temi followed him. They walked through a long hallway. Photographs lined the walls. Ji-hoon as a child. Sujin. His father. His mother. Temi stopped at one particular photograph. It showed Ji-hoon's mother holding him when he was a baby. She was smiling. She looked happy. Temi touched the photograph. She loved you. Ji-hoon looked at it. I know. Then why would she do this? I don't know. They reached the end of the hallway. A door opened. An elderly Korean woman stepped into the room. Her hair was silver. Her posture was straight. Her face was calm. Ji-hoon's breathing stopped. Mother. The woman looked at him. Then at Temi. A faint smile appeared. So you finally came. Temi's heart pounded. You know me? The woman nodded. I've known about you since the day you were born. Temi stepped forward. Where is my mother? The woman didn't answer. Where is she? She is alive. Where? You will see her. When? After you understand why she disappeared. Temi's anger rose. I don't want another story. She stepped closer. I want my mother. The woman studied her. You have her eyes. Temi froze. What? She had the same eyes. Ji-hoon looked at his mother. What did you do? The woman looked at him. Everything I did was to protect you. You kidnapped Temi's mother. No. You threatened her. No. You ordered people to follow Temi. No. Then who did? His mother looked toward Temi. Your father. Ji-hoon froze. What? She sighed. Your father has spent 24 years making you believe I was the enemy. Temi's heart pounded. Then why did everyone blame you? Because it was convenient. She walked to a table. There was a small box on it. She opened it. Inside was an old photograph. 3 women. Adizwa, Amara, and herself. Temi stared. You were friends. Yes. Then what happened? The woman looked at the photograph. We loved each other. She paused. Until the men around us decided that our friendship was dangerous. She began telling them the truth. 24 years earlier, Adizwa, Amara, and Ji-hoon had built a business together. It connected Nigerian exporters with Korean shipping companies. Their business became successful. Too successful. Kang Ji-hoon wanted control. Samuel wanted to expand it independently. The women refused to let either man control what they had built. So Ji-hoon created a plan. He convinced Samuel that Ji-hoon had betrayed them. He convinced Ji-hoon that Amara was stealing money. He convinced Amara that Adizwa had sold information. Slowly, he destroyed their trust. Then came the night Temi was born. Ji-hoon arranged an attack. He wanted to eliminate the women and take control of the company. But Ji-hoon discovered the plan. She warned Adizwa. Adizwa saved Temi. Amara disappeared. Samuel disappeared. And Ji-hoon stayed behind. She stayed because someone had to watch Ji-hoon from inside the family. Temi stared at her. So you weren't working with him? No. You were spying on him? Yes. Then why didn't you tell Ji-hoon? Because your father would have killed him. Ji-hoon's face hardened. You let me hate you. I had no choice. You could have trusted me. I was trying to keep you alive. He looked away. His mother approached him. You were 6 years old when I realized what your father was capable of. She touched his face. I could not risk you. Ji-hoon's eyes filled with tears. You should have told me. I know. Temi looked at her. Then where is my mother? Ji-hoon opened another door. Come. They followed her downstairs. A hidden corridor stretched beneath the mansion. At the end was a medical room. Temi stopped. Her mother was there. Alive. Weak, but awake. Mom! Temi ran to her. Amara opened her arms. Temi. They embraced. Temi cried against her. I thought I'd lost you. I know. You should have told me. I wanted to. Why didn't you? Because they were watching you. Temi pulled away. Who? Your father. Temi's heart stopped. My father. Amara nodded. He never died. I know. He has been searching for you. Why? Amara looked at her. Because you are the only person who can expose him. Temi looked confused. What does he have to do with my blood? Amara shook her head. Nothing. Temi froze. What? The blood story was a lie. Ji-hoon stepped forward. Then why did they say Temi was needed? Because they wanted her to believe the wedding was the solution. Temi stared. Who? Dae-hyun. But why? Amara looked at her. Because he knew Temi would do anything to save me. She paused. He wanted her to marry Ji-hoon. Ji-hoon frowned. Why? Because he wanted control of you. Temi's eyes widened. Me? Yes. Amara explained. Your grandmother's original business was never completely destroyed. The shares were placed into a trust. Who controls it? Temi asked. Amara smiled sadly. You. Temi's mouth opened. Me? Your grandmother transferred everything into your name when you were born. Ji-hoon's eyes widened. That means Temi controls the remaining assets. Amara nodded. Dae-hyun has spent 24 years trying to find her. Temi looked down. And the wedding? He wanted you married to a Kang heir. Why? Because then he could legally challenge the trust. Temi suddenly understood. The threats, the wedding, the ring, the family, everything. It wasn't romance. It wasn't blood. It was power. But there was one thing Dae-hyun hadn't planned for. She had actually fallen in love with Ji-hoon. The door suddenly opened. Everyone turned. Samuel entered. Daniel was behind him. Samuel looked at Temi. I owe you an apology. Temi stared at him. You lied to me. Yes. You let me think you were dead. Yes. Why? Because I thought it was the only way to keep you alive. Temi's eyes filled with tears. Everyone keeps saying that. Samuel looked down. I know. Temi stepped toward him. You all decided what was best for me. Yes. You took my childhood. I know. You took my mother. I know. You made me believe I had no family. Samuel's voice broke. I know. Temi looked at him. Then don't lie to me again. Samuel nodded. I won't. He reached into his coat. He removed a folder. This belongs to you. Temi opened it. Inside were legal documents. The trust. Her grandmother's business. The shares. Everything. Her name appeared on every page. She stared. I don't want this. Samuel looked at her. You don't have to keep it. She closed the folder. I don't want power. Amara smiled. You never did. I just wanted my family. Her mother pulled her close. And now you have them. But they weren't finished. Dae-hyun was still free. And he wasn't going to surrender quietly. The following morning, his lawyers announced that the Kang family would challenge Temi's ownership of the trust. The news exploded across Korea. Temi suddenly became the center of a national business scandal. Reporters surrounded the mansion. Cameras followed her everywhere. People accused her of marrying Ji-hoon for money. Others accused her of manipulating the Kang family. Some called her an outsider. Some called her a gold digger. Some said she had come to Korea to steal a fortune. Temi read the comments. Her heart hurt. Ji-hoon found her sitting alone. Don't read them. I should know what people think. You don't need to. She looked at him. What if they're right? About what? That I don't belong here. Ji-hoon sat beside her. Neither do I. She smiled faintly. You were born here. That doesn't mean I belong everywhere. He took her hand. Home isn't where you were born. Then where is it? He looked at her. Where you are loved. Temi's eyes filled with tears. And where is that? Wherever you are. The wedding day arrived. But there was no enormous ceremony. No palace. No media event. No extravagant celebration. Temi and Ji-hoon chose a small garden overlooking the sea. Only family attended. Adizwa came despite her injury. Amara sat beside her. Samuel stood behind Temi. Daniel stood beside Ji-hoon. Even Soo-jin, now recovering, came to support them. The woman who had once been blamed for everything stood quietly in the back. Myun, Ji-hoon's mother. Temi walked toward Ji-hoon. He stared at her. She smiled. You're staring. I know. Why? Because I still can't believe you're real. She laughed. You're the one who proposed. I know. And you're still surprised? Yes. Why? Because I never imagined someone like you would choose me. Temi reached him. I didn't choose the Kang heir. She looked into his eyes. I chose Ji-hoon. His eyes became wet. He took her hands. I promise you. He paused. Not a perfect life. Temi smiled. I don't need one. I promise you honesty. Yes. I promise you that when the world becomes loud. He squeezed her hands. I'll be the person you can come home to. Temi's tears fell. And I promise. She smiled. To never let you forget how annoying you are. Everyone laughed. Ji-hoon laughed too. Then they exchanged rings. Not the original ring. Not the ring that had started the mystery. New rings. Chosen by them. And when they kissed, Temi felt something she hadn't felt in years. Peace. Months later, the Kang Empire changed. Ji-hoon refused to take control of his father's criminal operations. Instead, he rebuilt the legitimate side of the company. Temi transformed her grandmother's trust into a foundation supporting African-Korean trade and scholarships. Amara recovered slowly. Adizwa moved into a quiet home near the sea. Samuel finally stopped running. Daniel opened a business of his own. Sujin became one of Temi's closest friends. And Myeon? She became part of the family again. Not because the past was forgotten, but because they finally stopped allowing it to control the future. Dae-hyun was eventually arrested after the evidence from the original ring was released. For the first time, the truth belonged to the people who had survived it. 1 year later, Temi stood on the balcony of her home. Seoul stretched beneath her. The city lights glittered. Ji-hoon walked up behind her. You're quiet. She smiled. Thinking. About what? She turned. About how strange life is. He wrapped his arms around her. You mean how strange your husband is? That too. He kissed her forehead. Do you regret coming to Korea? Temi looked at him. Never. Even after everything? Especially after everything. He smiled. She rested her head against his chest. I came here looking for answers. And I found a family. She paused. And a husband. He laughed softly. You forgot something. What? He placed a hand gently against her stomach. Temi looked down, then back at him. Ji-hoon. He smiled. You're going to be a mother. Her eyes widened. You're serious? He nodded. Temi covered her mouth. Tears filled her eyes. You knew. I've known for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I wanted to surprise you. She hit his shoulder. You are unbelievable. He laughed. She pulled him into a hug. The woman who had arrived in Korea carrying nothing but questions was now standing beneath the Seoul night sky with everything she had once believed she'd lost. Her mother, her family, her future, and the man she had never expected to love. Ji-hoon whispered, Temi. Yes. Would you do it all again? She looked at him. Every single time. He kissed her. And beneath the lights of Seoul, their story finally became what it had never been allowed to become before. Not a secret. Not a transaction. Not an arrangement. A choice. A love story. Their love story. And perhaps that was the greatest victory of all. If Temi and Ji-hoon's story touched your heart, don't just watch and leave. Tell us in the comments. Would you have trusted Ji-hoon if you were Temi, knowing that his family had been hiding the truth from you for years? And if you believe love can survive secrets, betrayal, distance, and even the darkest family history, hit the like button. Subscribe to the AfroK Tales and turn on the notification bell, because more original Afro-Korean love stories are coming. And remember, sometimes the person you cross an ocean to find isn't the person you were searching for. Sometimes, they're the person who makes you finally feel at home.